My name is Sabrina Casoclas, and I work with the Massachusetts Rehabilitation Commission. And we provide protective services for persons with disabilities who are being abused by their caregivers. So we receive reports through the Disabled Persons Protection Commission, and we investigate the reports of abuse. We received the report in regards to Sue and what was happening with her and what John was doing to her. Her friend Sarah reported to an agency that she was very concerned, so I received the case. Sue is a 49-year-old woman with progressive MS. And John convinced her that he was the best guy ever. And once Sue trusted him enough, they got married and they were going to live a very happy life for the rest of their lives. And once she was diagnosed with MS, John's whole attitude changed. Once he was told that he had to take a more active role as being a caregiver to Sue, he didn't like it at all, because Sue was supposed to take care of him, not the other way around. And I think that he wanted to show that he was the guy that she was going to stay with. And she's gonna like it whether or not he hits her, he beats her, or doesn't take care of her. That's it. If he's gonna have to do it, then she's going to accept whatever kind of services, whatever kind of care that he has to offer to her.
Well, I'm not afraid of anything, okay?
With the depression coupled with what was happening to her physically, she felt that she'll be in the situation with John for the rest of her life, and she accepted it. And I think Sue felt really alone, because this is the person who loves her, this is the person who's supposed to take care of her, but not in this way. So once he hit her and she sustained a bruise, he wanted to make sure that there was plenty of time before she saw her doctor, because obviously the doctor is going to ask how she got the bruise in her eye. The one person who stuck around really was Sarah. And I think Sarah knew something was going on. And Sarah would probe a little bit and would ask some questions, but Sarah wasn't really sure what was happening either, because things were so subtle. And if Sarah called the house, John would say, oh, you know, Sue is sleeping. I'm sorry, she can't come to the phone. So Sarah really didn't think twice about it. And I think that Sarah was in a very difficult position. When Sarah took Sue out that day to her doctor's appointment, I think that was Sue's saving grace, because Sarah wanted to have lunch with Sue and reassure Sue that things will be okay with her, but Sue was late coming back home, and John was very angry about that, and John hit Sue. And Sarah saw the bruise, and Sarah wanted to help. And I think that Sarah was trying to give Sue some encouragement and saying to Sue, don't worry, it'll be okay, it'll be fine, don't worry about it. But Sue had to be convinced of that. And I think the more she talked to Sarah, the better she felt, the safer she felt. However, Sarah was also struggling because she wanted to tell someone else and said, you know what, Sue, I really can't help you. I know you're telling me all this stuff, but how can I personally do anything? Sarah went to the house, and she wanted to know if Sue was all right, because the phone kept ringing, and that was unlike Sue, especially since Sarah knew of John's schedule. Ringing the doorbell, nothing. And Sue, depending on where she was in the house, she couldn't necessarily get to the door.
Sue?
At one point, it got really
Sue,
quiet for Sarah to hear Sue weeping. And she just
Sue?
followed the sound.
Sue? Sue? Sue?
Goodness, Sue, what's going on?
Sarah found Sue naked in the bathtub with urine and feces. And she really did know how to react. I remember asking Sarah this. Her first reaction was, I didn't know what to do. She did ask Sue if she wanted to call 911, and Sue refused. Her first reaction was to get Sue out of the bathtub and get her cleaned up. And I think that that would be anybody's first reaction. Once Sarah was faced with the thought that maybe another day she'll come and she will find Sue dead, she decided to make the report. And at that point, Sue had had enough, and she wanted to do something about it and said, I'm done. I've had it. What can you do to help me?
Got a potty there, gets abusive with his wife. They're calling for assistance.
Yeah, 413 will take that. Hello, police. Open up, sir. Hi, sir. I'm with the police department.
John was actually arrested. I think people feel that they're more vulnerable when the support system is taken away from them. Sue needed to know that someone else besides John could do it.
Protect, preserve, report. Protect the victim and get needed medical help. And call 911 for an ambulance as needed.